Wrestling with My Family is based on a true story. It's the biopic about Paige. She is a wrestling diva, or she was a wrestling diva, and she goes off to fight in the women's WWE to try and provide for her family. She's got the support from her mother and her father, but her brother's a little bit jealous, and she has some family drama she's dealing with, while also trying to adapt to life in America, because she's from England, she's the outsider. Look, I'm not a huge fan of wrestling. When I saw this trailer, I just kind of wrote it off as like another wrestling movie. I was like, do we really need another wrestling movie? I didn't think the movie looked very good from its trailers, but I was pleasantly surprised with this movie. And again, this is coming from somebody who was not a fan of wrestling. I don't even like the movie The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke. I got through like 25 minutes of that movie and I was like, that's it, I've had enough, off. Wrestling never really resonated with me. I always thought it was all fake, which it basically is, but at the same time, what I appreciated about this movie is the behind-the-scenes stuff, just how hard these people actually do train. I gotta give wrestlers props, because we see how hard they train. We see that their entire life is just consumed with training from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to bed. Like, it's a steady diet of just training and running on the beach, flipping tires over, and stuff like that. It really opened my eyes to the fact that some of the stuff that these wrestlers do might be fake, but they also put the time and effort in to get in shape that they can actually wrestle. And that's what I really appreciated about this movie. I also thought the performances in this movie were really good. Florence Pugh, who plays Paige, I thought she was brilliant. She's a good young talent. She's been in a few things, nothing that I have seen, unfortunately. Actually, I think she was in one movie that I saw. Don't remember the name. It's right there. Well, she was really good. She's got a lot of talent. She's got a bright future ahead of her. Every time she was on screen, I was just like, this girl is really good. Lena Headey, I don't care if you're supposed to be the good mother in this. No, you're still a bitch because you're Cersei Lannister. No. All jokes aside, Lena Headey was really good. I think this is her best performance in a movie since Dread. I really liked the chemistry she had with Nick Frost, who plays the father. Nick Frost is just hilarious. He adds a bit of humor to the movie, and he's just funny to watch. And I love watching him with Simon Pegg in his movies, and anything Nick Frost is in. It enlivens the movie a little bit. And that's what I really appreciate, and that's what I really like with Nick Frost. Nick Frost is really good in this movie, too. Everybody across the board is really good. Vince Vaughn is really good. The Rock, he's not in the movie all that much. There is one monologue that The Rock has where I was like, where was that in, like, Skyscraper and all your other action movies? Because it's like a monologue that he would give if he was starring in a grade B action movie from, like, 1998. All of his dialogue in that scene, I was just like, that's the best, like, cheesiest dialogue The Rock has ever had, and I loved it. He's not in it that much. All kidding aside, there is a surprising amount of humor in this movie. I didn't really think I didn't really think a movie like this would have a lot of humor. I thought it would just go straight for the biopic stuff and, focus more on the serious family drama and all that, and it does. But it does add a lot of humor, especially with some of that British English humor, And luckily I understood it because I've seen so many British movies, and I thought that this movie was really funny. When the humor lands, it lands. It's really good. This movie also has a very subtle message. It's not ham-fisted. It never beats you over the head because it sort of touches on it, but not in the way that you expect. That message is, just because you're the outsider, it's okay to be the outcast. And I thought that was a message that really hit home with this movie. And I found myself resonating with that. I can relate to some of that. And it was just really, really interesting. There's one situation in the middle of the movie where the main character, Paige, goes through a transformation. And all of a sudden, she comes out looking a lot different. And that's kind of the scene that touches on that theme the most, but throughout the rest of the movie, it's a lot more subtle. I mean, even in that scene, it's subtle, but that's the one where it's just like, okay, she's really trying to fit in. I also love the music in this movie, the rock and roll soundtrack, the rock and roll musical score, the acoustic guitar musical score. I think a movie like this really benefited from that. Wrestling's such a contact sport. Whenever I think of contact sports, I just think of rock and roll, those chugging guitars, guitar solos, crazy drums and all that. That's what I really think of. And I think it added an element of life to this movie. That other movies, you just use a traditional musical score, like rap music or electronic music. It really doesn't help them out. I think that helped it out. I mean, there were some songs I noticed. Wild Side by Motley Crue. First song that came on, I was like, alright, I already know I'm going to love this movie. The movie is written and directed by Stephen Merchant. I think Stephen Merchant does a good job directing, but, at times this movie does feel a bit by the numbers. You kind of know what's going to happen. You kind of know that she's gonna go to this tournament, she's gonna train for this tournament, she's gonna have her fall from grace, she's gonna have this big family talk, not everybody in her family's really gonna like her anymore, but then she's gonna realize that, oh, I actually have to do it, and that's kind of how it plays out. So it does get a bit predictable in its writing, and the directing, the cinematography is great, but it's just what Stephen Merchant did with the camera and all that, it doesn't really add anything new, and I also felt as if there were some scenes that were kind of edited poorly, especially the last wrestling match. That was edited kind of weird, if you ask me. So I don't know where that came from, but this was a huge surprise. I was really riveted by this movie, and I laughed a lot, and it did hit me, because it tells you, it deals with a lot of family drama, which I think all movies that deal with family drama and do it well and pull it off like this do it really well. It's the fact that the movie really hammers home that central message that being an outsider is okay, and it does a very good job of that. All of that combined with the performances, the music, training montages, all of that, the behind the scenes stuff with wrestling, all that's done really well. There's just some elements of the writing, some directing choices that I didn't necessarily agree with, but, those are just small issues I have with the movie. Fighting with My Family is a wrestling match I'm going to give an A-. Thanks for checking out my review of Fighting with My Family. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more reviews coming soon. I will leave the link to my website below. There you can subscribe to this channel, and you will find all my links to my social media accounts there. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.